Is it just me or do you miss shows like Pimp My Ride and Cribs? You know, where they went through the whole house and they had all this lavish stuff and you were just like, I want that. You know, you thought about maybe the house, the kids, the fenced in yard, or maybe the family gatherings, and you just wanted the space to be able to do what you wanted when you wanted to do in the privacy of your own home because you work hard and you paid for it and you deserve it. And yes, you do. You know, a lot of times I found myself finding those movies, you know, with the secret compartment of the bookcase. You know, you wanted those character houses. I found myself going through these houses as a realtor here in Wisconsin, just being like, what if one of these books unlock a secret cave? Like, when exactly do you find that out? Is it after you've been in the house for a while, or is that kind of on the MLS sheet of private remarks? Hey, guess what? There's a secret passageway in the bookshelf. Sorry, just joking, guys. But thank you guys for tuning in. This is Stephanie Stewart with eXp Realty. My brand is Educate to Own Realty. I have been able to help hundreds of families just be able to get through the home buying process and definitely teach them how to go from renters to owners. I definitely have to turn their payments into profits because renting is something that people do. And that's fine because we actually have rent communities. This means this is more people renting than actually becoming homeowners. Now, there's some things that cause that. That's going to be later for a later conversation. Some things like inflation, you know, debt to income ratio, as far as not making enough at the job. There's so many things out there that are being able to cause renters to continue to rent. Because I mean, if you're already spending your last on your rental payment and to buy a home means now you have to pay for a new water heater, or you have to call the plumber, you have to call for a roof specialist. It just seems like more headache on top of an unforeseen circumstance. However, I want to be able to guys to share with you guys definitely the benefits of renting and owning and why becoming a homeowner is so important. I want to first start by asking a question. Are we paying rent or getting paid? I want you to think, close your eyes for a second, and think about how much money you pay for rent currently. You got that number? Great. Now, after you think of that number, think about how many years you've been in that home. Maybe it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. Now I want you to think about how many rents you've paid in your lifetime. Average the number out, doesn't have to be exact. And then count the number of years that you've been renting in total. Look at the number on the screen and tell me, all the rent that you pay, is that a down payment or maybe a whole house? Paying rent can be great, but if you are the landlord, paying rent can be phenomenal. So I just want to take an example. Here in Milwaukee, my lowest rent I've ever paid was $750. I'm definitely leaning more towards the 1,200 right now. So let's go for something. Let's go for 1,000 for an easy number. If I take $1,000 per month and I was able to do maybe 3 years renting, that's $36,000. Most down payments only require 3 to 5% of the purchase price. So 3% of say 100,000 is 3,000. So that means you paid the down payment multiple times over in just those 3 years. But let's go a little bit further. What if somebody's been renting 10 or 15 years, maybe 20 years? Now we're looking at the numbers of 120,000, 180,000, $240,000 spent in rent to somebody else to pretty much pay off their mortgage and build up their portfolio and build up their wealth. When in turn, I would love to be able to teach people how to build wealth for themselves. Some people don't want to buy a home because they think it's too stressful. They're just not ready for what it takes. Well, let me tell you that it's actually really the same thing. They just call it different things. So you know that rent, we just call it mortgage. That security deposit, we call it earnest money. There's still a credit check and application fee or loan processing fee. They still check your credit. They still want to make sure you have a good job. You make 2 to 3 times the monthly payments. And say maybe you need a security deposit first month's rent and last month's rent. They want to make sure you don't have any collections or evictions. And how well are you with paying other people? How well is your track record? Are you a nuisance to the neighborhood? Does travel team seem to follow you where you go? Have you taken the time to think about movers or a U-Haul or who's going to actually move and or pack all the stuff that you're going to move? It comes down to the process being the same. And though it may be stressful, there's definitely, it's just a minor grain of salt in in the hourglass. Because what is catastrophic is the fact that homeowners have 40 times greater net worth than renters. That's right, 40 times greater net worth. This means that they can have their home at that 120, say they have $120,000 home. They have been able to build their net worth 40 times greater than the renter at just less than $7,000. $66,000 for some can be very hard to come on. But this would be what it means to have maybe an emergency fund, a mini and major emergency fund. You have some savings left up. So in addition to be able to have that $120,000 for just a home, say that homeowner was able to maybe take out another equity to be able to get another property. Well, now they have 2 properties. That property now puts them at $255,000 compared to the renter at less than $7,000. So it just sometimes doesn't make sense, but sometimes we just don't know exactly what it takes. So if you like this video and you found value, definitely leave me a comment in the bottom, like, share, send to everybody you know that is looking to get into the home buying process and wants to go from a renter to owner. And I can definitely show you some resources out there that can help you get into actually owning a home, whether it is a rent to own program, buying a home with lower credit score, and or if you are already ready to go, you've already been planning for this, let's go ahead and link arms so that we can go ahead and get you in the home of your dreams to pay the lowest amount of interest, pay it off in record time, build up that equity, and really go ahead and get you ahead of the game. So now you are on that other side of the 40% and not the other side. Tune in next time.